Good morning, everybody. Alrighty, my name is Catherine. I'm the Neil's worship assistant this morning. As you know, Kaya is not here this morning. But it's going to be our Reverend Carrie is with us today from Austin. We're going to start out with hymnal number 95 in the Great Book. There's more love somewhere. All right. I'm going to sing, but I'm not very good singer, so I'm listening for you. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley, UUCBV or Brazos UU for short. My name is Cal Wow and I'm serving as your worship assistant today. We are a welcoming congregation, which means that we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We are also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be back with you all. Hi, thank you. Our call to worship is from Reverend Ashley Horn. Please listen to these words. You are loved beyond belief. You are enough. You are precious. Your work and your life matter. And you are not alone. You are a part of a we, a great cloud of witnesses, living and dead, who have insisted that this beautiful, broken world of ours is a blessing worthy of both deep gratitude and fierce protection. Our ancestors and our descendants are beckoning us, compelling us onward toward greater connection, greater compassion, greater commitment to one another and to the earth. Together we are resilient and resourceful enough to say yes to that call, to make it our life's work in 1,000 different ways, knowing that we can do no other than bind ourselves more tightly together and throw ourselves into the holy work of showing up again and again, to be part of building that world of which we dream, but we have not yet seen.
I'd like to invite Gloria to our chalice lighting today. So please say our chalice lighting words with me on the screen. We light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, as a beacon of hope for all who seek justice, dignity, and compassion, and in celebration of the life of truth and meaning we share together. Now, all please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that there is a spark of divine in every single person. So let's take time this morning to greet that holy and divine spark. Good morning. My name is Allison, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at UUCBV. And today, our time for all ages is going to be a little different. There is a story, and if you're comfortable with just sitting in your chair and looking at our wonderful slides that Evan is running back there, thank you, Evan, you can follow along with illustrations like most weeks. However, this book is really meditative. What's the word meditative mean? Does anyone know? Insightful, calm. Some might use the word boring. We're not going to use that word. It is very still. It is very slow paced. So if you want to, if you're comfortable with closing your eyes and visualizing the words as I say them, you can do that as well. I'm going to read it slower than I normally do. There is a spider. Hi, Mr. Spider. Hold, please. Okay. I'm going to read a little bit slower than I normally do and take some breaths between the lines. So if you are doing more introspective visualization, then you'll have time to really absorb the words I'm saying. So this is called My Heart, and it's by Carrie Lucan. My heart is a window. My heart is a slide. My heart can be closed or opened up wide. Some days it's a puddle. Some days it's a stain. Some days it is cloudy and heavy with rain. Some days it is tiny. But tiny can grow and grow and grow. There are days it's a fence between me and the world. Days it's a whisper that can barely be heard. There are days it is broken, but broken can mend. A heart that is closed can still open again. My heart is a shadow, a light, and a guide. Closed or open, I get to decide. So if you have your eyes closed and you're visualizing and start opening your eyes back up. I really love this story. Just a few words before we go to Ari. I love this story because I feel like oftentimes we don't check in with how our hearts are doing. And if we're going to have hope and we are going to work really, really hard for justice in the world, it's important to check in with ourselves. Some days your hearts are ready and open and ready to go out into the world, and some days your heart is ready for sleep, is ready for rest, is ready for solitude, and that is okay. So I wonder how it is with your heart today. And maybe this week you can check in with your heart a little more often than you usually do. I would like to invite all of my other UUs to come to religious education. And would all of you please sing us out with this little line of mine? And you have to start singing because I'm going to start walking. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was fun. All right, now is the time of our service where we're going to do some more meditation. Because I feel like I've already started for the day. And of course, this is also the time to light candles of our joys and our concerns so that they can be shared in community. The music for us today is provided by my wonderful husband, Carrie Holley-Hurt. Let's take just a few more breaths together in the silence. Thank you. I am so excited to be here again. I love being in community with you all. And because I love to be in community with you all, I really hope that you don't mind that I am bringing a message of hope today. Now, rest assured that given everything that has gone on over the last few weeks, but really let's not, months, years, I am not going to blow smoke with a Pollyanna message. There's not going to be any rah-rah from me, and I'm not going to speak about things I cannot possibly know. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to ground us in our values. What I am going to do is ground us in our history, and I'm going to focus us on the bedrock of our religion, which is faith and hope and love, so that we can focus on our shared goal of a more loving, a more kind, a more compassionate, and a more just world for everyone. That's why we come to church, right? Amen. So, if you are not feeling hopeful right now, I totally get it. If you are grieving, I get it. I'm grieving too. If you are enraged by the white supremacy and heteropatriarchy of it all, ooh, I am enraged too. We are living at a time when a significant portion of our fellow citizens and our government stand in direct opposition to the values we hold. The values that hold us together as a community, values that spring from love, like equity and justice and pluralism. We can see by the news or the election result that those values are not held by a significant portion of our fellow citizens. And that hurts. I know how much it hurts. And for those of us that are queer, trans, or in the BIPOC community, or are immigrants, it doesn't just hurt, it's terrifying. Some of you have worked hard to get out the vote, and you did it with a heart full of hope that our values would prevail. And I'm sure it feels pretty devastating to think that all your hard work came to nothing. I know you're tired and sad and angry, and I'm sure at moments you just want to put your head in the sand. I know, because I've been on that exact same roller coaster over the last few weeks. In our collective rage and grief and helplessness, I have heard so many people say that they felt foolish for hoping that things could go a different way. And y'all, while I get that sentiment, I don't believe it for a second. I do not believe for a second that our hope is misplaced or misdirected. I believe that our hope that we led with, and will continue to lead with, impacts people. Hope is the cornerstone of our faith. It's vital to our spiritual health and to the work we're called to do. Dr. Holley-Hurt said that the abolitionist movement of the 19th century, you know, that movement that helped us move away from the most brutal, violent, dehumanizing institution of chattel slavery, the institution that was the entire bedrock of our economy. Those abolitionists were only 1% of the population. And according to Dr. Carrie Jackson, that 1% was made up of the most diverse group of people. She says, it's men, it's women, it's white, it's black, it's people born into freedom and people born into poverty and slavery and fugitive slaves, wealthy people. It was religious people and non-religious people. It was people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass who knew firsthand the cruelty and violence of the system and still had hope for a better future. A future in which their full humanity was recognized. A future in which this nation would one day live up to the promise of liberty and equality for all. And it was people like our Unitarian forebear Peter Parker who at the height of the Fugitive Slave Act, when he had to protect his own congregants from slave catchers, he preached, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eyes reach but a little way. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice." Now, he said this in 1853, a violent and cruel time in this country. Just 4 years later, the nation's Supreme Court would rule that people of African heritage had no citizenship rights. And just a few years after that, we would be embroiled in a bloody civil war. So when he said he believed that the moral arc of the universe bends towards justice, it wasn't because he was watching some linear evolution where things were just getting better and better and better. No, it's because he looked at history and he saw all the way so that cruel and greedy men do not prosper forever. But mostly it was his faith that told him that we could do better, that we could be better to one another, that the laws of the land could protect everyone. But he didn't just hope. He took his hope and he turned it into action. Even in extremely violent times, he was guided by faith and hope. And that's because hope has always been and will continue to be fundamental to our faith, especially in times of violence and despair. But y'all, we can't just wait to feel hopeful. Hope, as activist Marion Kaba says, is not optimism. Hope is a discipline, and it's one we have to practice every single day. This means we don't just wait for the spirit of hope to land on us. We cultivate it. And we do this by protecting our energy and using our resources wisely. So instead of doom scrolling and holding visual next to our devices, we put our energy into one another. Because when we stay insulated and we stay inundating ourselves with information, it's the same as going into a condemned building and pointing out the new broken window of the day. It's not a good use of our time or our energy. Instead, we use our one precious life in the service of hope. We join with those who are facing the most oppression. We take their lead, and we do the work. And in it, we are nourished over and over again. Our hope is nourished because we're meant to be together. We are not enough on our own to do all the work that must be done. We need each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't ever want to be enough on my own. Bell Hooks says that one of the most vital ways we sustain ourselves is by building communities of resistance, places where we know we're not alone. And good news, because look around you. Right here is your community of resistance. And in community, we can comfort each other. We can lend each other our faith when one of us is a little short. And most importantly, we can help each other stay in that discipline of hope. But it's not just you all here. You are connected to 40 other UU congregations just in Texas alone. And you can find people values in your progressive churches and mosques and synagogues. And you can connect to people in progressive organizations like the organizations you all raise money for. All these people are working on the same shared goal of a more loving and more compassionate world. Y'all, we can be and should be in community with all of them. We're not alone. So many of us have faith in a world that can be better, where everyone's full of Faith and hope have always guided any movement towards a more just world. Any bending of that moral arc of the universe that you have seen in your lifetime or that we can see by the historical record has been done with people full of faith and hope. And as the Christian scriptures tell us, all things will pass away. Governors, presidents, issues, those are all going to pass away. But what remains is faith, hope, and love. And it goes on to say, with the greatest of these being love. That's because love centers us. It is the foundation of our values. It's the reason we have faith that things can be better. And it's what fuels our hope. Love is why we can all come together from different walks of life and different points of view to do the work we're called to do. The work of creating a more compassionate and just world. And so we must center love in our relationships with one another. Theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote, "The person who loves their dreams of community will destroy community. But the person who loves those around them will create community." So as we do this work, we have to love each other more than we love the thoughts of each other. Get me? As the legislature starts its shenanigans, which, let's face it, it already has, you may feel hopeless, and you might start looking for ways to control. Often, our search for control can lead to bickering and infighting. And of course, we do that with people we feel safest with, right? We do that in community. While this is a very human response, it's not a good use of our time or our energy. We need our energy to fight the battles ahead. We need our energy to get creative, that we can show extravagant love to those who are being targeted for marginalization. And we will need our time and resources to pour into our community in a way that nourishes us all. But when conflicts do arise, and they will arise, make your love for the people around you so strong that you can weather it. Conflict's not bad, especially when we're centering the love we have for each other. And when we lead like that, when we lead with the love we have for each other, when we center love, we give ourselves a place where our faith and our hope are renewed over and over again. And that's the most important resource that we're going to have in these upcoming times. Y'all, so many of us are hurting. And so many of us are at real risk of harm. And we love ourselves, and we love each other. And because we love those that we haven't even met yet, let's keep centering love. Let us center our faith in a more just world so that we can stay in the discipline of hope. May we continue to do this work even if things get scary. May we remember that the consequences are real, but that we're held by love. That the dangers are real, but our faith calls us to action. That the violence is real, but we have hope for a more loving, more kind, more compassionate, and more just world for everyone. And with that, we will continue to do the work of bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice. May it always be so. And now, please join us for our hymn 131, Love Will Guide Us.
sustained and strengthened this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate donation every week to help support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. The 4 groups that we voted to support with this year's donations are Brazos Valley Blessings, the Brazos Interfaith Immigration Network, the Transjoy Project, and Tiny Hill Village. We vote on this every May at our congregational meeting. Please be as generous as you can. We give thanks for these gifts that we have given, for those we receive, and for each other. May your generosity return to you tenfold. All right, we have some announcements this morning. For Thanksgiving this week, the church will only be open on Tuesday. The rest of the week, the office will be closed for the Thanksgiving celebration. For the Thanksgiving holiday. Love and Joy choir rehearsals will continue every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. But of course, this week with Thanksgiving will not be. So rehearsals will be resuming on December 5th. We need help with Sunday morning tech. If you're interested in that, please reach out to Reverend Kaya or to Allison if you are interested. There will training available after the service today, as well as in the future. And lastly, we have our Christmas karaoke coming up on December 15th. If you have a favorite song that you want to perform, please talk to Reverend Kai about that. Make sure you're wearing your Christmas pajamas or holiday pajamas. Santa will be here for selfies, and there will be a good fun time had by all. Alrighty, we're going to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together